Hey guys, it's been a while since we talked and had a chat. And after the events yesterday, man, I'm just like, I'm not doing great. I know you guys aren't doing that well either. The amount of evil that we're witnessing over the last 5 years is pretty much unparalleled to anything that we've experienced our entire lives. So I just turned 40 years old in July this year, and I've never seen America like this. I never would have imagined it was like this. We were very programmed to believe that, it's the land of the brave and the free and the truth. And we were fed a lot of, I think, bad information growing up. There was a lot of indoctrination. And we're starting to see the ramifications of that now. And this last week has been so tough between Charlie, and there was a Catholic school, and then this subway with the Ukrainian refugee arena. It's just horrible. And after everything that's happened in this world and over the last few years, they still haven't released the Epstein list. It's like our world leaders are literally child lovers, and they're covering it up, and they haven't arrested anyone. They haven't arrested anyone for any of the atrocities been committed against the American people in the last 5 years or so. Just no arrest, no accountability, do whatever you want, lie about it, and get away with it. And the rest of us Americans are not okay with that, because we're forced to play by the rules or we go to jail. And obviously this is a two-tiered system where if you're an elite, you can do whatever you want and diddle children and get away with it. And we're not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. It's like, I wonder, where are all the strong Christians? Where have all the strong Christian men gone who would stand up and say hell no to this? Where have they gone? Were they killed off in wars? Or have they just turned us into weak mush at this point where everyone's too scared and cowardice to stand up and stop this evil? Are you too scared? Are you a coward? We have to stand up and speak. It is our duty to speak and call out the evil. Destroy evil with the sword of my mouth. That is the truth. I'm just appalled that there are not enough strong Christian men to stop all this evil. I am appalled. At this day and age, we were taught that humanity is past this barbarism. Growing up, we were taught humanity's past slavery. We defeated the devil in World War II, and now Americans are the pinnacle of good. That's what we were taught. And man, there's so much evil just out staring us in the face every day. It's just getting harder and harder every day. It's just getting worse and worse. But I want you guys to keep your chin up. As hard as it may seem, over these last few years, I've been studying history like crazy, and I think history is really the most important subject in the world. It's imperative that you understand true history, because once you really dive into history, you start to see what's happening today has happened many times before in history. Many, many times. And if you know your history well enough, you can change the course of present day, right? You look at the mistakes your ancestors made, you don't make those same mistakes. And we're making those exact same mistakes. If you're really stressed out right now, I just want to let you know that I understand. And it's okay. Although history is repeating itself, we're also living in a humanity that's experiencing things for the first time in the history of humanity. Never in the history of humanity have we had all the information of the entire world in the palm of our hand. Never in the history of humanity have we been able to see what's happening overseas in real time on a magic freaking piece of glass. So we are witnessing things and having feelings and experiences with access to information that humanity has never had before. And as a result of it, we're all going through a very tough period. We all believe different things to be true, and thus we all live in different realities. It's becoming very evident that while everybody's talking about the evil, nobody's really talking about solutions. And so I want to present some solutions. I mean, I could sit here and talk about all the bad things in the world all day, but you guys have seen it, you guys feel it, and there's enough warriors out there talking about the evil, but there's not enough people talking about solutions. Is it possible to save America? Can we flip it right side up? Return it to the core virtues that made America what it is? Is it possible? I don't think so. I think it's too far gone to save America, unfortunately. I don't want that to be true, but basically we're still living under laws and regulations and things that were created in the early 1900s, over 100 years ago, and they've just been adding more and more laws, corrupting it, taking away freedoms, putting band-aids on. I think the whole system is so unbelievably corrupt. I don't think there's any saving it, unless you essentially had a very bloody revolution and wiped out the government and started again. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want that to happen. But people are becoming radicalized. And watching what happened to Charlie, I mean, that was really hard. I consider myself a very tough person, and watching what happened to Charlie was very hard to watch, very hard to swallow, and it was all over X. Nobody was censoring it, and there's a lot of young eyes that probably witnessed that and will be traumatized the rest of their lives. See, the reason why Charlie getting taken out is so devastating to everyone, except for the idiots who are celebrating, is because even if you disagreed with what the guy said, we've been watching this guy for years. We've been debating his talking points. We've been listening to his message, and he carried himself, in a way where he didn't really ever back down. And so even if you disagreed with him, he was still a part of your consciousness. He's always going to be a memory. The messages, the words he spoke will always be in your mind, whether you believe them or not. Maybe you'll ponder them again later down the road in life. And it's much different than like some, let's say, congressman that we've never seen before getting killed, because we've been watching Charlie for years. And a lot of people really love that guy. He was a very polarizing figure. But what really kills me the most, not even his death, because he died doing what he loved, which is probably the best way to go. But what kills me inside is that he has 3 kids. And I have a daughter. She literally means everything in the entire world to me. And I mean everything to her. And it's not right for those kids to grow up without a loving father. I feel for those kids more than anything. And it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking, man. And the lady on the subway, she escaped to America as a refugee so that she could survive Ukraine, and then she just gets for nothing. Over the last 3-4 years, I've seen a story like this almost every single day. And yes, we have social media now, so we see more of it, but I don't think people really comprehended how much evil is really in the world. We were sold the lie that there's this American dream. You go to school, you go to college, you get $300,000 in debt, you buy a house for $1 million, you spend the rest of your life paying off interest until you die with nothing. But they told us the American dream exists. It definitely doesn't exist anymore. Our young people can't buy a house. They can't even afford to have kids. And it's so messed up. Our government is so corrupt that our young people literally cannot afford to have children. Like, how messed up is that? It's backwards. It's an inverted world. It's an inversion of Christ. Anything that is good and true and wholesome and natural is Christ. And anything that's a inversion of that is Satan. That's really, long story short, And we're seeing so much evil, so much demonic energy, it feels like. People have lost their minds. and they've let the demons in. They don't have Christ in their heart anymore. But the majority of us still do. It's just that we're so devastated when we see the evil because we still have Christ in our hearts. And it's only growing. But there's a story I want to tell you about God. I've been trying to say this for 3 years, and I've actually been trying to record this video many times. I just can never really seem to get the words right, and I've thrown it out. But I think this video is probably a better time than ever to talk about my experience. So I'm just going to come out and say it. 3 years ago, I was thinking about, I was at the bottom of the barrel, man. I was in a really bad place. I had lost one of my best friends. He took his life. I have been dealing with this stomach disease for 10 years. I'm basically allergic to 99% of food. And it's been really hard. I haven't had a French fry or a beer in 3 years, man. So I'm allergic to sugar, starch. I can really only eat grass-fed beef and vegetables. That's like my whole diet. So it's been really tough. I lost a lot of money. Demon Rush didn't succeed. Anime War taken down. I lost all this weight, but I have all this loose skin from being fat, so I'll never have that body that I always wanted. It was just like, I'm fighting a lot with my wife at home. Nothing crazy, just normal marriage stuff. And it was just so much all at once that I snapped. It was so much stress. I was screaming at the top of in my head. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but in my head. And I was screaming so loud in my head for 3 days. I literally thought people outside would hear it. That's how stressed I was, man. I was at the brink. And in my darkest hour, I met God. Literally. More specifically, I met an entity that introduced me to God. And it was the most profound experience. I'm still processing it. I just want to let you know I was not on drugs. I was not asleep. It wasn't a dream. I was actually sitting in front of my computer, meditating at 432 hertz, this exact video. It turned me over to Christ. It was sent me down a rabbit hole because I needed to figure out like what happened to me. And from my understanding, what happened to me is something called gnosis. It's like this spiritual meeting with the divine. Now, a lot of religions have these, they have terminology for that, for like these divine meetings. And if you dive deep into all these religions, you can learn about them. There's like methods to, bring you closer to God, have this meeting with God. Stress can be a factor. But primarily you have to do things like meditate and fast and believe. And you have to believe so much that you essentially open up something inside of you to allow God to come in. And I really want to talk about that more. But this entity I met, apparently her name is Sophia, and it's very strange to talk about. And for like 3 weeks after that, I'd say, after that experience, I was getting these like downloads of information, like answers to questions I hadn't even asked yet. And for weeks I just wept. I literally just wept. And I mean, you will too. When you meet the Creator, you will weep. You will weep. And God told me some things. He didn't tell me, He showed me. So when I had my experience meeting God, it was like I came really close to Him and He showed me a story of my life. It was like memories that I had long forgotten, a string of memories in a row that conveyed a very particular message. And the message is what my mission is. as a soul on this planet. I believe that everybody here has a specific mission for their soul. But that's not like... Mine was, what he showed me is all these things you've been trying to do your whole life, ever since you were a kid, ever since your personality even started to form. You've always been trying to do this one thing. Even right now today, you're still trying to do that one thing. And he showed me that through memories. And what I've always been trying to do, whether it's comedy or entertainment through the animations or whatever it is, I've always been trying to lift people up. Even if that's at humiliating myself just to make them laugh, if it's helping them and asking for nothing in return, whatever I'm trying to do, the main prerogative that I've always had since I was a child was to help people. And that's all God wants me to do. He doesn't want me to lead. He doesn't want me to do anything crazy. He's really not asking much. Essentially just showed me that, your purpose is to help people, guide them, give them hope, lift their spirits. One of the other things that God showed me is how everything is connected. It was like, for an instant, he showed me his design, just for an instant, and it was like staring into infinity, and it hurt. It was too much. Like, our little soul or little brain or whatever can't process it. His design is so vast that it's impossible to comprehend. Literally, that's what he showed me. And it seemed like everything and everyone is connected, even down to our atoms. Like, we're all part of the same, like the universe is one giant organism and we're all atoms in it, or bacteria or something. Like, we're all connected, we're all part of the same singular organism or something. Like,
did you know that the human body is comprised of 37 trillion cells? More than 4 times the population of the planet Earth. We have that many cells inside our walking body, actively working at all times. And even further than that, inside each one of those cells is an entire mini universe of its own. We are a walking universe of universes inside of a universe. During the end of his life, Leonardo da Vinci was attempting to explain this and match up how the human circulatory system and brain structure mimics almost identically the same structure of the universe. And I believe that this is what God showed me.
it really felt like the universe is alive and we're just like a cell in it. Like, that's what it felt like. And we are all connected. I mean, it's like the butterfly effect. One good decision versus one bad decision can change the entire course of humanity. It's really about our decisions, and we are dealt a great many deals of tests. This whole thing is a huge test to see if we're going to become an angel or a demon. That's what I feel like the truth is. God wants us to play with each other like kids or dogs. That's how humanity is supposed to be. We're supposed to be happy and free and having fun and loving each other. If you see, like I have a little daughter, and it's so easy for her to make friends. All she has to do is just walk up and like stare at a kid in the face, and they're like best friends. You see 2 dogs, a lot of the time they'll just run off in the sunset together and become best friends. Yeah, sometimes they fight. But I think what God wants from us, he wants us to be as playful with each other as toddlers or dogs are with each other. I mean, that's really all God wants us to do. It's really simple. You just walk outside, you go say hi to your neighbor, you say, how can I help you? And if everybody did that, the world would go round. But there's too much greed, way too much greed in this world. It's just gotten so out of control. People have forgotten about delayed gratification. They've forgotten about leaving the world a better place for your kids than how you inherited it. They've forgotten about doing the right thing no matter how much criticism or hatred you get. They've forgotten about standing your ground. It's just like a free-for-all now. If you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for anything. If you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for everything. That's what they say. I want to make a whole video dedicated onto the experience with meeting God and showing you exactly from start to finish how I even got there. I want to tell you all the exact parameters for me to meet with God. The frequency I was listening to, I was fasting, and I want to replicate it. I want other people to have this meeting too. And I haven't been able to replicate it again, by the way. I've tried, but God wants me to speak. You know, it's the second word of the Bible. The word is God. We must speak. If we don't speak, we die. We shrink. We wither. Our word is everything. Words change reality, change people, they inspire. They change events and courses of history. The word is everything. You can't be scared anymore. It's time to speak. Use your mouth, use your words. Learn the truth, read history. It's more important now than ever. And find out a way to learn how to self-sustain yourself, like the Amish. I honestly think, the more I learn about the Amish, the more I'm starting to think that they were right about just about everything. Seriously. They have the lowest cancer rate, the highest fertility rate in the world. And they're good people. Like if you saw in North Carolina, they came in, were building houses for people. They were helping all these helpless people while FEMA was screwing up, not helping anyone. The Amish came in to save lives. And they do it for God. They're good people. The more I really think the Amish were on point, man. And if the apocalypse does come, they'll probably be the only ones who survive. So I think we need to learn a lot from them, particularly how to survive without electricity. I think people are too dependent on it. And if something erupts, like a civil war or World War III or whatever, if the power goes out, do you know how many Americans can survive without power or running water? They'd be helpless. I'm talking 95% of Americans would be completely helpless without electricity. They don't know how to self-sustain. They don't know how to grow food or clean water. Most people can't even cook. So we can learn a lot from the Amish. But if you're going to take anything from this, guys, let it be this. God is real, and He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to talk to Him and to open your heart to Him. And you'll see Him too. You'll feel Him, and you'll start to understand. The Bible is so beautiful. Like Jesus was teaching us things about today. He was teaching us like neuroscience, how to get past anxiety. He was teaching us about power structures, about humanity, about all sorts of things, greed and lust, these animalistic emotions that people that we get preyed on, and how to move past it. My best recommendations right now are clean up your diet, learn how to cook, learn how to grow food, clean up your water, get yourself a water filtration system that cleans out fluoride, which, by the way, I was drinking unfluoridated water for a year until I had my experience. So apparently, fluoride is a neurotoxin that lowers your intelligence, and I was a really dumb kid, and they used to fill my mouth up with fluoride. I definitely think that it ruined my development as a child. But luckily, your brain can heal. All of your organs can heal. That's one of the craziest things I found out about cleaning up my diet and learning so much about nutrition, was that by not eating, our body starts to heal and go back to its natural state. So the food is putting tremendous stress on our bodies, causing all the diseases, the cognitive issues. It's the food. And when you stop eating, your body starts to repair itself. And so, I had this near-death experience where I ate something bad. I had this really bad allergic reaction, and I swelled up huge. I was red. I couldn't poop. I felt like I was going to pop, and I really thought I was going to die. And I called doctors. I got a specialist. He's like, I can see you in 3 months. I'm like, bro, I feel like I'm going to die tonight. In any case, long story short, 10 doctors couldn't help me, but I cured myself just through finding out the truth about food and nutrition. And so I essentially just switched to a grass-fed beef diet. I eat pistachios, eggs, lentils, some veggies, a lot of onions and garlic, and that's about it. That's about all I eat, man. That's all I can eat. But once I started eating one meal a day that was like real food, and then fasting the rest of the time, within 2 weeks I lost 20 pounds, and then I quit alcohol too, and I lost another 25 pounds in the next 2 weeks. And I never felt that good in my entire life. Completely like healed my body, my brain. Just remarkable. I want more people to do it, but people are so obsessed with the food, man. People are so obsessed with food. You gotta get past the food, you gotta get past the greed, the pornography. So if America can't be saved, see, I'm nonviolent. I don't believe in violent solutions. It'll just create future violence. So what's a solution? If we can't fix America, what's a solution? There's only one. And it's that we have to leave this infernal place and start new. Rebuild brick by brick. I mean, it's either cut out the cancer and we probably die as a result, or we just leave altogether. And I think the Christian way, the right way, is to leave everything behind. I think what we need to do, honestly, is put as many Christians who are willing to do this, put all of our money together, buy a country, or like an island, and then spend the rest of our money on resources and commodities, ship over a whole bunch of lumber and metal and stuff, so we can start building and literally rebuild a Christian country, taking the Constitution, but we have to build on it, because obviously it didn't work, right? Like our forefathers built the most banger Constitution in the history of the world because they knew how corrupt people get when they're in power, and it still got corrupt. So we need to make rules like how in the 1970s the dollar used to be backed by gold, and as soon as they removed the dollar being backed by gold, they gave the central banks the liberty to start printing money infinitely, and thus causes the inflation debt spiral. So things like that you can never break from. You can never have a fiat currency. It has to be backed by something substantial. I also don't believe that there should be a power structure at all. I mean, if we look throughout society's history of humanity, like there is rarely ever someone in power who has only good in their heart. Usually people in power are evil as hell. Why is that? Well, maybe we need to remove the power structures and instead all be equal. I mean, that's what Jesus would want, right? Jesus wouldn't want kings. He should be our only king. So I'm just trying to let you know that if you're feeling a wide range of emotions and you don't know how to process it, I just want to let you know it's normal, and we're all feeling that together right now.